Welcome to the next in series of educational ASMR using Minecraft with SRP ASMR. So today I thought we could take a tour of the digestive system here, just to help you relax and unwind. So here we are at the beginning of the food journey and tour of the digestive system. Now if you want to, you can be a piece of food today. You can be your favourite piece of food that you want to be. I'm going to be a margarita pizza. So let's start. So inside here we have the mouth, we have the lower teeth here and the upper teeth there. We have the tongue, and digestion begins in the mouth with the production of the amylase enzyme in the saliva. The tongue has taste receptors or taste buds, if you like, and these are responsible for detecting the 5 elements of taste, which are salty, sour, bitter, sweet and umami. So this is the back of the tongue, the throat here, and the front of the tongue there, which also allows you to move the food in your mouth. We have the teeth, which are responsible for piercing, tearing and crushing the food. So you have your incisors, your canines located here, and you have your premolars and molars at the back part of the mouth here. So that's the mouth. Here is the esophagus, also known as the food pipe. It says here the esophagus is a muscular tube that acts as a passageway for air, food and water, which isn't strictly true because air travels through the windpipe, not the esophagus. It travels through the trachea. So the esophagus is mostly responsible for food passage. So if we go down the esophagus and land in the stomach, which should be the next part of our journey. Yes, so we reach the end of the esophagus, and here is the stomach where digestion continues. We have, which is likely going to be a sphincter muscle there, and the stomach is a muscular sac which secretes acids and enzymes, predominantly being hydrochloric acid and pepsin. So here are the gastric juices in the stomach for digesting your food. The stomach, as you know, also squeezes and pummels your food to further aid digestion. And the sphincter here, I believe, is called the lower esophageal sphincter. So it's essentially a valve to keep the food in the stomach and from travelling back up the esophagus. So down into the esophagus and into the stomach. So if we just continue the journey, we have a few scientists here doing some scientific things. There's the stomach secreting the gastric juices. So after the stomach, we should be reaching the small intestine. Let's have a look. Yes, so this is the small intestine, otherwise known as the small bowel, and this is the junction between the stomach and the small intestine. So this is where further digestion of the food continues. So the small intestine is a tubular structure, and it's likely the longest organ in the body, reaching about 6 meters in length. And the small intestine is divided into 3 sections. Now, it's important to remember that with digestion, what's not particularly noted here is that the pancreas and the liver play a role in digestion too. So the pancreas produces the enzyme called lipase, so there should be a duct somewhere in this area where the enzyme can enter the small intestine, and we should have another duct for allowing bile into the small intestine, and bile and lipase both play a role in digestion of fats. So as we enter the small intestine, the food is moved along the tube through a method called peristalsis. And it's important to remember that in the small intestine, this is where the absorption of nutrients occurs. So on the walls of the small intestine here are very small finger-like projections called villi, and this is where the nutrients are absorbed and enter the bloodstream. So in terms of digestion, proteins are degraded into amino acids, lipids into fatty acids and glycerol, and carbohydrates become simple sugars. So this is the pathway the food takes while absorption is occurring. So we'll follow the small intestine path. And we should be meeting the junction where the small intestine ends and the large intestine begins. So as we enter the large intestine along with the remaining food bolus, this will be where water is absorbed from the waste back into the body. So a little read, the large intestine continues to absorb water and nutrients from the food that arrives from the small intestine. And this just repeats that. So as you can see, the tissue changes colour slightly, becomes slightly darker in the large intestine, and water continues to be absorbed as well as some nutrients. But this is where your journey from food to whoopsie begins to happen, and you travel through these passages, through the bowels, and down to what you know is coming. This is the final stop on the digestion journey for solids. Solid waste is stored here until it is time to expel the waste. So you are now a poopy, and you're going to travel through the remainder of the large intestine. Very slowly. So we've still got peristalsis occurring, moving the waste along the pathway of the large intestine. And here is your exit. You have completed your tour of the digestive system. Your digestive system helps to keep your body healthy. You can help your system by eating lots of fruit and vegetables, drinking plenty of water. So this will allow your journey, your poopy journey, to exit, and you will now say hello to Mr. Toilet. We have a lot of scientists up our bottom, so let's just move our way through. Thank you. And up we go, and back into the courtyard. And the scientists are obviously very happy with our tour. Thank you. And we will exit back to the lobby, where next time, if you like, I can either take you on an anatomy ride, body organs tour, or a tour of the skeletal system. So if you enjoyed this video, please let me know which tour you would like to take next, and SRP will see you again very soon.